I came back from America. I'd been a senior research at Harvard University in the Centre for Study of World Religions. Not long after I returned, I was having a bit of a tough time and thinking about what to do, where to go. I had a bad accident and it took me out of the realm of doing art history anymore. I had to sort of rethink my career, and I knew whatever I had to do, I had to be active, not sit in front of the computer all day, every day. I knew I couldn't do that anymore, or I couldn't stand all the time. And to recover, I started making my own jewellery. And my then second husband said to me, "Have you noticed every time you make something, wear something you made, people come and ask you where you got it?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You're going into business." I said, "Am I?" Anyway, that's how it started. And my husband is a entrepreneur. He's one of those people who, where he sees talent, he likes to encourage and develop. And so he really sort of pushed me in that direction. But I had worked as a jewellery designer when I was young, and I had worked for a very good jeweller, and I had studied gemology. So I did have that background. My husband and I decided to buy a Burmese Mogok ruby as an investment. After a while, we decided to go to Hong Kong and consider putting it in an auction. We went, we changed our mind, and we were on our way to India, so we were forced to take the ruby with us. Anyway, we got there, and my Muslim driver / bodyguard said, "Oh, why don't you show to this very top jeweller in Jaipur who manufactures for many big names internationally?" He asked us to come back next day, and my husband came with us the second day. There were people there, and there was someone on the end of the phone who wanted us to send the ruby in a car. I knew for half an hour that's all it takes to change a stone. And I said, no, either I go with the ruby or my driver goes with the ruby. So they said, no, you can't. Yes, okay, driver can go. Aslam said, I go in the house with the ruby. They said, no, you in garden. And he turned around and looked at me and he said, they killed me. And we said, yeah, so let's get out of here. So we decided to leave the place really quickly. On the way back to our hotel, not long after leaving the shop, we were shot at, and a bullet went right on the vehicle and then grazed underneath the vehicle, hit right under my right foot. So I felt the force of the bullet. So after that, we were very careful, even more careful and nervous. Maybe when I see something really special, I like big stones particularly, that's my taste. Not everybody's like that, but I do. And so something big, beautiful colour, nice cut, is pretty hard to resist. Other designs evolve because of concepts or wacky ideas I have. Yeah, it's fun. I found that when I wear my own personal pieces, I get a very strong reaction. It's people who know what they like, have a very defined taste, confident of their style, and they always jump at me, gravitate, where did you get that? And so I thought, well, if I show them what other unusual things I can do or put together, then if they want to order something like that, or a copy, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I think it's because definitely because I grew up in Papua New Guinea as an Australian child in another culture. So as a small child, I was looking out and I'm aware of Western culture. I'm aware of Indigenous culture where they're using bones, feathers, all sorts of things, twine. And then also there were many Chinese in Port Moresby. It seemed very normal to me to have all these diverse cultural influences side by side. And those sort of things just lie deep in your brain for a long time. When I started making this type of necklace, it was because I couldn't find anything powerful enough, strong enough, interesting enough. I couldn't find jewellery that had cultural references, historical references, scientific references, geological references. And I started putting these pieces together. And by that time I had studied about postmodern theory and the notion of appropriation, taking from here, taking from there, taking even time periods, taking from prehistory, taking from a few hundred years ago, taking from contemporary. In these kind of pieces, all these things come together. So you will see diverse things together, and it's very deliberate. It comes out of not only my childhood in New Guinea with a mixture of cultures, but it also comes out of my study of art history, theory, postmodern theory, and so on. I've noticed that the people who buy my bound silver necklaces like this tend to be very confident, smart, educated women. If not educated, they might be very confident and successful business women. They're professional women. So it's definitely a personality thing, but it's also to do with the educational level and the confidence level of the buyer. Well, I had an idea that I would like to do something nice politically about the interaction between East and West, because in Australia we have a lot of interconnections with Asian countries from all over. I just thought it was a nice political gesture. So in my long necklaces like this, I'll use stone deliberately from Australia and say China, Taiwan, wherever. So they're really like friendly pieces and interconnections with Australia and the West and Asia, and that have a nice meaning. Well, historically, this length of necklace, I think back to the 1920s, the flap period, and the Coco Chanel style, which I always like. I think it gives definition, it's strong, it's got character, it's got confidence. So for the technique, I hand wire them myself, and I take a lot of time to get the stones positioned so that they speak to each other, matte with shiny, etc. And then I hand wire with this, in this case and in other cases, 18 karat gold wire. I hand wire each piece. Other pieces I might do in silver, and I use the rosary style of handworking, which dates right back to the monastic period in Europe, of linking one stone to another. All the time I'm looking at the landscape and absorbing the sparkle of rock, very like sand, because once it was an inland sea. So there's sparkly rock, There's giant boulders balanced on top of smaller boulders, and the incongruity of it, the impossibility of it, the colour of it, the red earth, the blue sky, and then the beautiful variations of tones from yellows, reds, oranges, ochres, browns. It was very beautiful. And also there was the native grass, the spinifex, which is a pale green colour. Some of the pieces I use a vintage cigarette holder about so long that I buy, usually a European vintage piece. And that is the symbol of the patriarchal invasion of the white Australian male into the Aboriginal landscape. So that way I have references to the landscape, to Aboriginal culture, obviously from a Western perspective, but the long cigarette holder is about the coming of the white man into Australia. First of all, nearly every woman has a classic pearl necklace. Secondly, I guess, pearl enhances the skin. It's a natural object, it's beautiful, but I like to use it with a twist. And I keep in mind that it should take the woman from her professional job or her office job in the day to dinner or a function at night. So I try and keep the design in line that she needs that necklace for different functions. And another thing I like to do is the twist. I like to combine the pearl with other stones and contrast, say, the shimmer of the luster of the pearl with the matte of, say, jade, or combined with tourmaline or aquamarine, some other lovely stone, and maybe make that necklace convertible so that you can still wear it as a plain pearl necklace, but you can put a pendant or something else with it.